Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Breaking whispers from inside the industry, Tencent's next historical flagship may crown a brand new Zhuge Liang, and the name on everyone's lips is Wang Yibo. If this is true, we're not just watching a drama. We're witnessing the birth of a cultural moment. Ready to see how this could change everything? Whispers travel faster than headlines, and this is the kind of whisper that changes the temperature of a room. Industry watchers say Tencent is quietly bringing a grand Zhuge Liang project into focus and has approached Wang Yibo to lead it. Nothing official, no posters, no polished statements. Only the soft thrum of credible chatter that refuses to fade. That tension between silence and possibility is precisely why people listen more closely. It is the difference between marketing noise and a genuine signal that something meaningful may be taking shape. You can feel the pull on three fronts. First, the character. Zhuge Liang is not merely a role. He is a vessel for memory. Wisdom distilled into a human figure who belongs to family stories, school lessons, and late-night debates about strategy and virtue. Second, the platform. Tencent rarely floats a flagship without the means to match its ambition. If this moves, it moves with craft, scale, and the expectation that the work must stand up to scrutiny. Third, the actor. Wang Yibo carries a paradox that captivates modern audiences. A star with proven reach who has been steadily exchanging glitter for gravity. That kind of transition invites both admiration and doubt, which is a healthy place for art to begin. The skepticism is not cynical. It is careful love. Viewers want fidelity to text and era, and they know how quickly spectacle can drown nuance. They ask whether any modern lead can render intelligence as compelling drama without resorting to caricature, whether production budgets will favor restraint over noise, and whether the story will breathe rather than shout. Yet these same questions are also a kind of hope, because they presume the project might dare to answer them. Between rumor and confirmation sits a rare opportunity. To let anticipation do its honest work. Anticipation is not hype. It is the attention we pay to something that might matter. If the signal proves true, this will not be only a casting headline but the beginning of a promise. To honor a legend with patience, detail, and quiet power. And if it proves false, the conversation still reveals what audiences are ready for. Thoughtful scale, disciplined performances, and the courage to treat intelligence as a form of spectacle. That, more than any announcement, is the clearest sign that the moment is real. To ask why Wang Yibo is to ask whether modern stardom can carry the weight of a classic without collapsing into gloss. The case for him begins with range, not merely reputation. Across recent projects, he has moved away from the bright, forward-facing charisma of an idol towards a subtler register. Measured rhythm, pared-back gesture. Eyes that hold a beat longer than the line requires. Zhuge Liang does not reward noise. He rewards stillness that thinks. The craft note is simple. The camera must find a mind at work, and the audience must believe that counsel can win wars. Wang Yibo's recent turns suggest an actor learning to subtract until only intention remains. There is a second argument, equally practical. Leadership in a production of this scale is not only performance but stewardship. A lead who brings an immense, mobilized audience can stabilize a project's economics, lock in post-production quality, and attract collaborators who want their best work to be seen. That is not hype. It is infrastructure. When historical epics succeed, they do so because the creative and the commercial move in tandem. His name gives the drama a runway long enough for patience. Rehearsals that do not feel rushed, research that can be funded, retakes that serve the cut rather than the calendar. Then comes image. Zhuge Liang is not a statue. He is a human calculus of mercy, strategy, and doubt. The portrayal will require humility, an almost monastic restraint, and the courage to let silence bear the scene. A performer with a disciplined public persona, composed, economical, rarely flustered, can translate that image into character architecture. Costume and props will help, but the center of gravity must be invisible. A slight narrowing of the gaze when the plan changes, a breath held as a messenger arrives, the smallest shift of the fan that signals decision. There are risks. A brilliant strategist played too large becomes theater. Played too small, he evaporates. The solution is tone. Scholarship respected, emotion earned, charisma hidden in calm. Wang Yibo stands at the right point in his trajectory to attempt that balance. Seasoned enough to resist superficial choices, hungry enough to chase the harder ones. If this rumor becomes reality, the task is not to prove that he is famous, but to prove that thought can be cinematic. If he can do that, the performance will not only satisfy a fandom, it will remind a broad audience that intelligence, rendered honestly, is its own kind of spectacle. To touch Zhuge Liang and the Three Kingdoms is to reach into a living archive. It is not only a story but a shared inheritance, recited in classrooms, echoed in family sayings, and argued over in late-night conversations about loyalty, prudence, and the burdens of leadership. The stakes, then, are larger than ratings. They concern how a culture chooses to remember itself, and whether a modern adaptation can carry that memory forward without embalming it. Get it right and you create a bridge. Scholarship meeting craft, history meeting pulse. A legend opened carefully to first-time viewers without closing the door on those who have carried it for years. Respect begins with patience. A production of this scale must refuse the temptation to treat wisdom as ornament. It must show how counsel is earned, through listening, delay, revision, and how strategy is not the thunderclap but the weather system that precedes it. The mise-en-scene should feel lived in. Robes that bear the weight of travel, ink that smudges under pressure, maps that crease where hands have hovered in doubt. Music must dare to be quiet enough that a breath matters. Language must risk restraint so that a single word carries consequence. This is not austerity. It is confidence that intimacy can be cinematic. Fidelity, however, cannot mean stasis. The responsibility is to keep the spirit intact while allowing the form to breathe. That may mean staging consultations as dramas of thought rather than noise, using visual grammar, light, shadow, negative space, to render calculation legible. It may mean inviting historians to sit beside editors, letting philology and pacing argue until they find the exact length of a pause. Innovation is justified where it clarifies. Spectacle earns its keep where it reveals character rather than hiding the lack of it. There is, inevitably, risk. Reduce the legend to pageantry and you will find only surfaces. Reduce it to museum glass and you will lose the heartbeat. The measure of success is simpler and stricter. When the feather fan moves, does the viewer feel time gather? When a plan is withheld, does silence thicken with meaning? When a loss is accepted, does mercy look like strength rather than surrender? If the answers are yes, you have not merely adapted an IP, you have honored a conversation centuries in the making and invited new voices to join it. That is the promise and the price of telling this story now. Feather Fan Lab. Invite historians and prop artists to reconstruct the iconic fan, materials, symbolism, performance ergonomics, and let viewers vote on the final design. Strategy Room Live. A short weekly segment where actors table read famous council scenes. Then a military historian breaks down the tactics. Map the campaign. Interactive battle maps showing weather, supply lines, and terrain. Viewers predict outcomes before each reveal. Zhuge's Journal. A micro-series exploring leadership lessons, clarity, patience, timing, as life skills for students and professionals. Community Challenge. Fans share one act of quiet leadership they practiced this week. We feature the best in the next episode. Concerns about SFX, adaptation fidelity, or casting aren't hate. They're love, expressed as high standards. Let's welcome that energy. The solution is transparency. Show previs, explain the research, and stage a side-by-side, script versus source text, where possible. Above all, keep expectations honest. This is still rumored, not confirmed. If the plans change, we adjust with grace. If they're real, we hold the team to the bar they set for themselves. A convincing Zhuge Liang could reset the mainstream image of intelligence on screen. Less noise, more nuance. It could also widen the path for historical epics that are thoughtful rather than merely loud. And for Wang Yibo, it would mark a decisive chapter. The moment a modern icon tried on the robes of timeless wisdom. Whether you cheer, question, or simply observe, you are part of the moment that defines what we value in heroes. If you enjoyed this thoughtful take, please subscribe and turn on notifications. You'll hear the official update here the minute it drops. Thank you for watching and for keeping the conversation respectful. Follow our channel for more intelligent, inspiring coverage, and I'll see you in the next episode.